What's going on, you beautiful people? It's your real estate go-to, Deontay. Here, as always, with another reaction video in regards to our real estate market, where we're taking a look at what industry leaders, thought leaders are saying about the market and bringing it here to Orlando to see how it applies to us and how we can take advantage of it. So, this is a great video I just found, haven't looked at it yet, and it's talking about first-time home buyers being priced out of the market. So I'm excited to see what they say, how it's going to apply to us, and also the tips and tricks that we as new home buyers that are watching the video can take advantage of to get you still into your home. So let's take a look and see what this NBC program is talking about.
Depth reporting on a topic we've been watching. Let's talk about the American Dream, a new series where we're looking at the promises that a lot of people think about when they think of the promise of America and whether or not those promises are actually happening for people. This week, it's about housing. Really, part of the definition of what the American Dream is. Work hard, save money, then buy a house. Yep. Maybe have your family in that house. But that milestone is becoming more and more out of reach for a lot of us. First-time home buyers made up the smallest percentage ever last year, only about 25%. So why is
Didn't know
that happening? And more importantly, is it going to change? NBC News correspondent Sam Brock has the story.
I can tell you this, I'm a millennial, right? And it is crazy to think that when my parents were purchasing a home, they were looking at homes around, $60,000 to $80,000 as their starter home. Me and my generation starter homes right now is like 300, 350. That's not updated. So definitely times are changing, and it's like they're saying so far, presented some challenges, to say the least.
In housing markets all over the country, big and small, coastal and inland, there's a riddle that first-time homebuyers like Kevin Lederer of Orlando are trying to solve.
Oh, let's go. Orlando is here. Let's go.
When did your reality come crashing down on trying to buy a house?
About 2 years ago, when I started making offers and getting outbid nonstop.
How do you navigate higher home prices, stiff competition, and now an uptick in interest rates all climbing in the last few years? Increasingly, the answer for millions is simple. You don't.
Everyone has the hope of owning a house. Is this shattering that illusion for many?
Now, I don't believe in giving up. Majority of my people who we have stuck to it, we all have gotten in a home, and they can attest to this, right? It is a matter of being ready, being prepared, being ready to make a decision right away, and being very strategic through your approach. And that has been true since 2020 for me and my people going through this. So I don't believe in that statement, giving up. But we'll see what they have to say after that.
Any families?
Somewhat, yeah. Being a 31-year-old, recently married, having our first child, raising a family, like you want to have that American dream of having a home that you can build a family in.
It's not as if Kevin, who works in private investigative services, and his wife Hayden, a 28-year-old wedding coordinator, haven't been trying. The new parents saved up for a down payment for years and collectively make just under $200,000 annually. Still, it's not enough.
The typical first-time home buyer, the share actually dropped the lowest level we've ever recorded in our 41-year history of the report. We also saw that the age jumped to the highest we've ever seen before.
To give you some better perspective, just over a quarter of homes sold between July of 2021 and the end of June 2022 were purchased by first-time buyers. That's a dramatic drop from the historic benchmark of 40%. And the average age, normally around Kevin and Hayden's, is now up to 36. Housing experts say part of the problem can be traced to rents soaring along with inflation, sapping savings, as well as the fact that first-time home buyers aren't facing an even playing field.
First-time home buyers, they do not have home equity to be.
Now, a way I've been able to help combat this with my people is different programs, right? New construction is one right now that I'm harping on so much, especially if you're in an area where it's USDA, right? Where zero down payment plus majority of your closing costs is covered by the new construction. So there are methods that I'm able to present to my people and get them into homes, but a lot of this, like they're saying, that rent soaring and hindering your ability to save is holding true.
Begin with. And we know that repeat buyers, they do have home equity. They already have a house.
All of these factors have thrown a wrench in many plans, along with geography in Kevin's case. The top 2 states for new residents are Texas and Florida, and a flood of new people means more demand and higher prices.
Before the pandemic, the same sort of houses that you were looking at, that you were unable to buy, how much would they have cost?
$250,000, $275,000. Now,
how much are they now?
Close to $400,000.
And the younger generation needs more help than ever to get a down payment. The latest National Association of Realtor numbers show more than a quarter are staying with friends or family to save for a down payment. And the majority are making sacrifices, cutting back on luxury goods, clothes, and entertainment to save up. But it's unclear if first-time homebuyers might catch a break in the market as mortgage rates have fluctuated. But industry experts are predicting 30-year fixed mortgages are expected to drop by the beginning of next year.
That allows for more buying power. Also, we see less competition in the marketplace. So those bidding wars and the lines out the door to see one home and timed entries, those are really ideas of last year.
A tidal wave of obstacles could finally show signs of turning.
I would have thought I would have bought a house by now. I would have already invested into that. But the hope is that we can get the house that I think that my family and I deserve.
And that is a glimmer of optimism for this couple and so many like them who just started their search at the wrong time.
I want to bring in.
And saying starting at the wrong time is relative. If you're able to stick with it as well, even though the interest rates are higher right now, what that has actually done is taken a lot of buyers out of the market. So if you're able to, like I said, negotiate through and get things like closing costs paid or rates bought down, now you're in the position to get the house that you want without bidding. So that's an angle that you're able to take, because when the interest rates drop, now we have history to show when the interest rates drop, we have more buyers coming in the market. So this can be an opportunity, once again, when we're strategic with it.
And Sam Brock, who is live for us now. Sam, it's such interesting reporting here, and I think people might wonder, there's a lot of factors that go into this, right? Where people live, who they are. Are we seeing this kind of across the board among all first-time home buyers, this issue?
Certainly when it comes to background and ethnicity, we're not, Howard. The National Association of Realtors crunched the numbers and found that communities of color are absolutely disproportionately be impacted by these headwinds. And when you dig a little bit deeper, it's for different reasons. The African-American community, for example, almost 1 out of every 2 buyers in that community is doing so for the first time. So when you talk about who's being sidelined, African-Americans are over-indexing on not being able to access homes right now. Asian Americans is another example here. Many of them live in very high cost of living areas. Think Northern Virginia, the San Francisco Bay Area. So they also are being priced out. But the reality at the end of the day is that there is so much competition right now and so many different things that are pushing against the average person just to try to realize this dream, that far too many people right now are living with their parents and trying to save enough money to even get the down payment to compete. But competition right now is tough.
Now, I live with my parents so I could purchase a home. So nothing wrong with living with your parents. I would make that clear. But another thing that you're able to do is, hey guys, if you have a primary area that you want to be, you have to be willing to, well, you don't have to do anything, all right? I'm not telling you what to do, but being willing to move 10 to 15 minutes further out from where your, ideal location is also opens up options for you to get the home that you want.
Talk more about that, right? Because you're talking about a couple of different things, some of which are intractable, which is, for many people, I shouldn't say that, I don't want to generalize, sometimes it is an issue of generational wealth, right? Handed down. If your parents owned a house and leave it to you or whatever, right? If you have a family that can give you the money for the down payment, a lot of people don't have a family that can give money for a down payment, right? I mean, there's so many systemic issues that go into this, and then there's the competition factor, which I'm interested in hearing more about from you.
100%. So let's talk about the competition factor first. According to the National Association of Realtors, last spring, it was about 5.5 bids per home listing. Now that has come down to about 2 or 3. But when I was talking with Kevin and Hayden, they told me there was one house that was reasonably priced in Orlando. Everyone seemed to want it. There were more than 50 bids on one house. How are you supposed to compete in that environment unless you're an all-cash buyer and going way over asking?
And that is true, especially in Orlando. What I'm telling my people, the middle homes that aren't all the way updated and stuff like that, you are getting 0 to 2 offers. But the homes still in Orlando that are Mac Daddied out, and we're experiencing it now. I have a buyer right now. We went over list price. We paid for closing costs, and we still lost out on the property. They are getting multiple offers, especially when it's priced right, especially when it's updated to the T. So that is something that is still in this market right now.
To your point about generational wealth, yeah, exactly. If you have parents that can help you, or also, this is a key point too, home equity. If you already have a house, you have that nest egg that you can transport with you to bid on another house. That's a huge leg up. But if you don't, if you're just starting from scratch, with the rents the way they are right now, it's sapping people's savings. They don't have the money to compete, and that's why it is not an even playing field.
Yeah, it is not for the faint of heart when you're talking about things like waiving contingencies, waiving inspections, waiving financing, which a lot of buyers want to see, or sellers for competitive bids. Sam Brock, it is a fascinating look at all of this. Thank you for kicking off our American Dream series for us here on NBC News Now. Appreciate it, pal.
That was solid. That was solid. So a lot of the stuff they were saying was true. And ultimately, my message to everyone is, you're in this situation. It's tough, but you still can purchase a home. Like I've been saying, my people who continue to stick with it, we are still in the home. They got their home regardless of the market. So the key thing is to strategize. It's an emotional situation, yes, but to do our best to take our emotions or table them as much as possible so we don't get caught up in, just jump out of the window and say, hey, we're done. We're done. Because oftentimes, and many of my people can attest to this, 2 weeks later, 4 weeks later, guess who gets a call back saying, hey, the deal fell through before I put it on the market. Are your people still interested? Your realtor, right? So it's important to keep high positive spirits so you can jump on it, and being willing to, tinker and expand your search and your willingness and your unwillingness to do certain things with your criteria. Okay, moving out a little further is something that you can do. Being okay with not a fully updated kitchen and planning on renovating it later, or other strategies that you're able to use to get in a home. So yes, it is tougher. However, with the right strategy, the right realtor will get the job done. So as always, guys, in real estate, there are only 2 people that can get you exactly what you want, okay? That's D and U. Talk soon.